Hang on. Hang on backwards here. Yeah, I'm backwards. How you doing, sports fans? Well, next week is a big game. Like the Bengals, they come out of nowhere. I'm rooting for the underdog. I lived in L.A. and I don't know. L.A.'s playing good. I'm a Cowboys fan. You know the drill. They get to the playoffs and they lose, but uh, I'm taking a break from driving a truck. I was out 3.5 months, and I'm 72. I'm beat. My fingers from grabbing the steering wheel. I got a 99 Freightliner, an older one, and trying to get this thing right here. All right. It's a little cold, as you can see. Anyhow, my fingers are like wore out, man. When I'm talking to my nephew, it's like, hey, what you retire? He's a Orange County Mexican wannabe Nazi, I guess, or something. I don't know. He's got money, He's a jerk off. God love him. Says my brother told him, my brother died. He didn't get the corona shot. He's 88. Lived a good life. I says, hey, he says, yeah, he says to take care of you. The guy's, I don't know, man. He's drinking hard liquor. It's like talking to the devil. Devil's in a bottle. Anyhow, I just got to deal with the family BS. I need help. I got to rebuild the motor on my truck after a while. It's going to be about 5-7. I made some money this last 3.5 months. Best day I done this last 2 years. I was hoping Trump, with the economy, I'm making more, but then you got to compensate for inflation. So I'm watching the Olympics. I guess we're supposed to boycott or whatever. I was watching a downhill skier that Michelle Schiffer, whatever. Yeah, she crashed today. The fucking hill mountain. I looked at it 2 or 3 times. That's steeper than fuck, man. I wouldn't drive my truck down there. That thing is steep, man. So I don't think her third turn, she didn't dig in quick enough or something, and she crashed. God bless her, man. She lost her father and all that. Listen to Bill, was it Bill Mayer? Yeah, he's pretty funny. Yeah, I think he's still in L.A., but yeah, we're all tired of the. He had a guest, a girl that was 25, and she was talking about the internet, and she says, "Well, how would you know? Like you're old, And he says, "Hey, that's a cheap shot." Because he's intelligent. I look at him. He's intelligent. He's quick-witted. And then I look at the Greg Gutfield. He's quick up here. He's not. I don't know. I'm a loner. He's not my kind of guy, really. I'm a loner, but guy's quick-witted. Maybe if I was in high school, a guy's quick-witted. You want to hang out with somebody like that or something. But anyhow, Megan Kelly, I don't know if she's 52 already. Jesus Christ. My, how time flies. Yeah, she's a knockout, but quick. She's married and all that. Had a couple of kids. See, I lost my kid. I lost my son. He was severely disabled, so I'm listening to these people. Well, I think we got the Trump train going, or a revival in this country. Maybe that's what we needed. With his mandates, and people want to control. So as a sub note, I was just looking at how the Mongols lost Russia. It's going back to like 1200 AD. And it's just tribes and throw in the Muslims. over there by the Black Sea, Poland, Ukraine, and then Russia. And the local tribes would take over another tribe. The Romans were in there. They conquered that. I was looking at the war. What was it? Wars in Europe or something? Well, let's say for the last 1,000 years, Russia had come down and the Romans would defeat them, and on like this Afghanistan shit. Same thing. They've been fighting over turf. I think that's a human guy thing. You want to defend your turf, and then I guess you get greedy, or you don't have enough crops or something. You got to go invade somebody else's territory to get to eat. To have food to eat and shit. And then while they're out there, I guess if you figure, since I'm out here conquering, I might as well, expand my territory or something and let them know. I think that's all it is ego or starvation. So you read that in the Bible too. I was reading the Old Testament when my son died, and the same thing. They all start out with good intentions, and one of them screws up, and this one gets married to this one, to the other one, to this girl. You have a family, it grows, and they're going here and they're going there. Jesus. My point is that, well, I try to do this for my own self. I'm a recovering alcoholic. I got 43 years clean and sober, but I drive a truck, and that the stress involved in the truck and then politics, I try to, the shit has been going on for a long time. It's not the Americans. It's or the millennials or the Generation Y, X, Y, and Z or whatever. It's just human nature. So this country is a baby country compared to all these 1,000-year-old civilizations. So, we're used to Disneyland and Mickey Mouse, and these people that it's not all they know, but it's fighting, raising crops to eat, having a family, or I guess they take a break, then they go back to fighting. They've been doing that for years. So I watched George Soros. He's old man. He's 90 plus, I think. But I was listening to him, and he says with the China, where they just started coming around 2013 with his Xi guy, Xi Jinping or whatever the fuck, the leader there. So, but he's got enemies, and it says he's going back to Mao, back up to the 30s or the 40s, something like that. I'm not even. Well, that was in the Vietnam War, so we went up, I guess, to the 70s. I haven't kept track of that. But it says with the real estate, China's not doing well. I think they overbuilt, and they couldn't get enough people to come out with a little bit of money to rent all those. I seen something like that 20, 25 years ago. It says China's building all these high-rise apartments. So the economy. But he also says that it's kind of a show, and that's also why they don't want you to see their dirty laundry. And then it says, well, we should boycott the Olympics and all in China and all this shit because of their genocide to the Muslims, the bad treatment of the Muslims. And I'm thinking, if you look at the map, I keep looking at China like on the other side of California, up a little bit, but it goes around the world. It's also by right there when I was looking at the Mongols lost to Russia, the Black Sea, and then you got India, Pakistan, all that over there, and Afghanistan. In that area, it's like the Middle East. The Mediterranean countries just keep going east. and you start getting into these other countries, and the Muslim from like north of Israel, I think, I don't know what they all, Iran and all that shit, where all them Muslims are going uh, east and north up to the China border. But on that clip with the Mongol about the Mongols, it says ended, I think, about 1600, that Russia, they were on a roll, man. They had gone all the way to Ukraine and Poland and all that, and then they started heading eastward, and they just kept going. It was showing on the documentary that they kept gaining. They just kept going Siberia, up to where China is now. I mean, they own half the world right there. Jesus, I was looking at it, I'm like, whoa. Of course, there's not much out there. I don't think. It's showing us clips of their training and whatnot, and they're going through the snow and the ice, and there's nothing out there. It's like maybe North Dakota or Canada or something. So, putting things in perspective, but fast forward with that nuclear shit, the Cold War, since the late 50s, we're ducking cover in elementary school. That's the 50s. Khrushchev and all that. I was looking at Khrushchev a couple of days, or Gorbachev, I'm sorry. The one, he got that scar. He's like bald-headed. He's got that scar on his head. Well, the guy's 90 now. He's like a grandpa. He kind of mellowed out a little bit. He was a little bit friendly, but so it's Putin or whoever's pulling the strings. They were mentioning it's differentiating, distinguishing between the Chinese people and the the Chinese Communist Party, and then the Russians that try to. It's the same shit as it's always been back in the 50s. That's 70 years that I know of. Oh, yeah, if China and Russia get together, they kick our ass. 2 against 1. I think we're all superpowers, and it's been that way. They call that, from the 50s. I was a little kid. Superpowers, early 60s. The superpowers. China, well, it used to be us and Russia, and then China has kept quiet, but kept coming up a little bit now. And it's always, anytime you got 3, you got 2 against 1, but we're negotiating. And George Soros says, with the tech companies and corporations, that puts us into a whole different level. It's not business as usual. I mean, it still is, but there comes this I think you got to give it to the mostly younger people. That's the majority, I think. That this has created a big influence in the economy, let's say. So now, it also creates a worldwide web, where communication is so quick anymore worldwide. We can they're showing you what, I look at the UK Prime Minister last night, just for a minute. I was looking at the news. I was bouncing around. And then Putin, and then Z, I don't know how you say his name, the Chinese guy, and others, the French, the UK, and what they're doing, and then the Trey Gowdy, the senator. This guy's a pretty straight shooter. He's on Fox News this evening. They're talking to senators, Congress, and I found a good documentary on this guy's also about 90. He was in the Air Force and what do you call that? Forensic pathologist or whatever. And he was there at the Kennedy assassination. And he ended up with he was screaming. He's from Connecticut, I think, or Baltimore, somewhere around there. And he got he says, I want you to know, he says, you got to notice the government tells you, you know, the single bullet theory, it bounced over from Kennedy, it hit him, came out his throat. No, the autopsy was it hit him below the shoulder blade. It's coming down from the bookstore. It's coming down like this, but it hit Kennedy by the shoulder blade. But comes out his bullet, which is like 10 inches out his throat, which is 10 inches higher. And we swallowed his shit. I got confused as hell, and I got frustrated because you're not supposed to question the government. I was a good little dummy. You know, I followed what my dad, the same thing too. He says, don't question the government. And then as I got older, he said, well, you know, they make mistakes and it's not, that's why I say it's not a perfect world. But this guy was screaming. He said he wants everybody to know it's the corruption. He says that's the reality in this world. My nephew's asking me, why do you like Trump? I said, man, I've been looking at him for 30 years. He's in New York. The guy's a bit, you know, up and down. Business is up and down. He went up. He was bankrupt, so you must be doing something right. They lend him money to start Atlantic City, like 10 million or something back in the late 70s. And me and my buddy went down and we're drinking. We went down to Atlantic City. Man, that's a world of hurt down there. And come back about, I think about 4 or 5 years later, where I had another buddy went to see him down there and went to the casinos. Nice. Been open for, it's mob. The mob come in from Philadelphia and the New Jersey mob and the New York mob. They all want a little piece of the action. But anyway, went down there. We didn't have nothing, man. I was driving a cab. I think I had $4. I went there, picked up my buddy John. I don't know if he came up to the village or I went down to Atlantic City or something. And we went over to the casino. I had $40. So I said, hey, I'm going to hold on to $20. So I had an old Buick. So I need gas money. I need $20, more or less. You know, we used to cut it thin, man. But anyhow, we'll go down and I gave him 10. You know, we're kind of partners. We split it down the middle. So the 20's for gas. And I said, hey, I got 20. We went to the cashier. We got nickels. And we're playing, laughing, joking, fucking drinking. I don't think we had anything to drink, but I think we had already had something to drink. That's it. So anyhow, hang on. I got a low battery here. I don't know if this thing. I got an old computer. I don't know if it's supposed to be working. Yeah. Hang on a second. Yeah, bear with. Hang on. Yeah, I tripped the fuse over here. Hang on a second. Yeah. No, I got 2 fans to keep my feet warm, and I had to put it up on high a little bit. And I'm in a 1927 house, so I don't know. They got some old wires or something. There's a little too much. You got to keep an eye on that so you don't go up in flames, you know. But anyhow, I had to flip the switch on that little extension cord thingy. You don't want to put too many things, run them all at once. You're going to burn it out, you know. Anyhow, so we're joking, playing around. It. You get down to your last nickel or two, or, you know, you hit a little jackpot. You get back 5, 10, 20 nickels. And you could tell we have no life, right? Yeah, Trump, we're all about the same age. Trump built a son of a bitch. We're talking millions. We're over there down to our last nickels. And this is the point I'm trying to make to my family and other people. They don't. Uh, I'm sober. I'm driving a truck. I never worked so hard in my life. You still really ain't got shit, you know. I'm comfortable right now. I got enough. I just ate. The refrigerator's full. I got some 3 packs of cigarettes. I'm in, wino's heaven. I quit. I quit drinking. I'm just using that for a reference. But I got another one, but that's it's you can't say it. You're not supposed to say it or whatever. I'm playing with this shit, But I'm looking at some of these people, like I say, all these reporters and journalists, like Bill Maher's coming out with the F word, and Megyn Kelly. He said something. He's talking to some guy. And he says the F word, and she said something else, referring to her vagina. And I wasn't expecting it from her. I was fucking laughing. I says, "Oh shit." She's got such a straight face, But I curse too much. I drink, I smoke, I spit. I don't drink no more. I mean, that's the old way of old reference. I'm not perfect. I'm not a bum. I used to be a bum. I paid my dues to get here, but well, my dad was lived to be 100. Both my parents, and he kept telling me, just pay your bills. You don't have to light the world on fire. This country, it's kind of competitive with China and Russia. I see where some of this bullshit is coming from. Well, number one, it's if you read the Bible and you believe in God. God's going to take care of you. My mother used to tell me that over. I couldn't stand it no more. But now I see what she's talking about. I turned, they're gone. I'm on my own. And I talked to God. My nephew's laughing at me. He's drinking. That's like the devil. Why would you laugh? But, that's where he's at. And I have to be big enough to understand it, because he's really getting insulted. Now, I can't say nothing because I was the king of insults. So maybe I'm getting a payback. Yeah, it is annoying. Yeah, okay. So I try to do the best I can with what I got. The weather, I haven't gotten sick. I didn't catch pneumonia. I was in 2 snowstorms. I got this heavy jacket now. That really makes a difference. It's I didn't have no money for $120 jacket. This Carhartt, whatever. So what people keep telling you, man, you got to take care of yourself. They say you got to take care of yourself. Take care of yourself. Be safe. Take care of yourself. Uh, take care of yourself, because nobody's going to do it for you. People will help you now and then, but don't depend on it. I was on welfare. I've been down and out. I got locked up. I've been locked up about 50 times. Just a lot of bullshit, drunken disorder, overnight shit. When I was younger, getting in fights. And I got away with a lot of shit. Not all that much. I mean, nothing. In the 70s, I don't think, it's not like killing people. You go to the bar, you have a little. Uh, I start in with well, I'm from Texas. I'm in New York City. Well, I'm from Texas, man. I don't give, when I start acting stupid. And the people tolerate it. Some get amused, but a lot of people don't like it. Why don't you go back to Texas, man? And yeah, I don't even want to. Megan Kelly was talking to some guy from Texas that he wrote a book about regrets. I have no regrets. It's kind of a macho thing. I don't regret nothing. And it says, okay, I made a mistake. Like with my son, I gave him a piece of cheese. It was a little too big. I was in a hurry, got stuck in his throat like that. I regret. I was in a hurry, and I wasn't. I just got stupid for a split second. He choked on his thing, went into a coma, he died. But it's like um, I grew up Catholic, and I basically mourned him for 10 years. Yeah, this time of year I get because he died in May. My dad died in May, and my son died in May. Uh, I just started going get all these reminders, but they were saying that you got to understand you're not the only one, and basically do the best you can with what you got, and don't beat yourself up for the mistakes you made in the past, and go forward from this point on, or that depression and all. Sometimes it hits me. I was looking last night. I feel like God puts this selects my videos for me almost. But I was looking at that super nanny. I don't know. It popped up over there, and I was looking. Something caught my eye. So I'm looking at one. This poor guy, his couple over here, and I guess they were in Phoenix. Youngsters, man. The girl was, I think she was 19. Good looking blonde. Her mother's a good looking blonde. But this guy's a tall, nice looking, kind of Irish redhead, brown hair. Nice looking guy. But anyhow, they got 4 kids. They end up with four kids. At least the guy was working, and I'm looking at it. The kids are going berserk. And they're wore out. The super nanny comes in. I guess she's British. And she reminded me about what I've been talking about with the Children's Protective Service. I don't know. Somebody paid for this. They made a TV show out of it a few years back and all that. But she comes in there. She's a little bit strict and makes I have a schedule. First, she sits there and observes and says that the kids have learned to go. They start beating each other up or hitting each other and crying and screaming. And one kid jumped off the couch onto his little brother. They're like 3 or 4 years old. Jumps onto his friggin' head. Jumps on his fucking head. I'm like, holy shit. And I thought just for a second, what would I do if I was in that? And you can't be hitting the kid. That's the old school. It might have worked, but God forbid somebody calls on you, you're going to prison. Anyhow, so she says it's a mind thing. The kids are 3 or 4 years old, and they have learned to make a distraction. Now, this other guy, the same thing. I think they had 3 kids, young ones, 2, 3, 4, toddlers, whatever. And she said the guy his father had been virtually insensitive, very insensitive to him, and he was over aggressive, and you could see it. His kids would sort of challenge him a little bit. He came out like, I wouldn't be surprised if the camera wasn't there. He'd knock him across maybe next year or something. Or they looked like they were sober, and the wife was a psychologist or something. But and the kids, he'd be very stern with them or spank them or something. They'd be crying, and it'd run over to the mother. And the mother would overcompensate. They're playing this fucking game. And then the first thing that popped into my mind, I said, I don't see anybody cooking. My son loved to eat. I learned I know how to cook, the basics, but I had to do that every day. And my father, I'd asked my father, and he said, just do it. He has shitty diapers. Just do it. Don't think about it. Just do it. And you'll become kind of a robot. And that's what's needed. I probably 70, 80% of the time. And I try to be as loving as I could. This was my son. And I don't know. I went to some parenting. I had to go to some parenting classes in LA, blah, blah, blah. And in my situation, it was he had the medical problems. So up to about 4 years old, 5 years old, he was progressing. He was way behind right away. He was way behind where other kids should be, and all the mental. It wasn't growing at the right pace, and he wasn't talking. He started trying, and then he clammed up. My ex was on coke on month 2 of her pregnancy, and destroys the neurons or whatever, the brain function. It then with all the shots you're forced to take, he regressed, which is really, that'll really get you. You're trying everything you can, and you're hoping to get better, but then he goes backwards. I said, holy shit, we got a problem here. And my mother was a school teacher. Yeah, let me work with him, man. She, in 2 days, she says, this is hopeless. It's just, I said, I told you, he's not, he got a problem up here with a medical, big problem. I just my dad was a Shriner and all that. My sister told me just love him, and that's basically all I could do, is turn it over to God. It's just a handful. And like when he was dying, I had two, to me at the time, I'm going to call them assholes, but this guy's from San Francisco, a Mexican guy. And he comes in, the kid's banging his head on the floor in the kitchen. We got wood floors, but I am fucking exhausted. I got to get up. I take little power naps. The kid never slept. 2 hours, 3 hours max. And banging his head, man. I have to sit there and try to give him a little juice. Used to calm him down. Like cranberry juice or something that was good for him, whatever. And the kid was, you don't want to get him too fat, but I fed him well. Cost extra money. We spent every dime virtually on food. The medicines work a little bit, but that seizure medicine got to help you. That's Trump was. He was going to go into to lower the prices of the pharmaceuticals for one, but I was looking at documentaries and all about the pharmaceuticals, with the older people, the older generations, that never heard people taking pills for this, taking pills for that. You never heard of that shit. You'd have a soda or A&W root beer. That was a big thing. 7-Up. We started drinking, beer. Now it's light beer and this and that and all kinds of shit. But it's just straight, you take a couple of shots of booze or something, and a couple of cigarettes or whatever, and always active. I used to be real active. I was an athlete in, elementary school. We had to play, and then we'd go home and play in the neighborhood till the sun came down. Every day, Saturday and Sunday, you had to go to church. And we'd come back to the church in the evening, but we'd get there early and play a little football or something. We had a little, just kid stuff. But you're running around, you're in good shape, blood circulation, all that. So I'm just putting this out there because, like, I drive a truck and I tell you I see some of these guys that are over 300 pounds. Some of these cowboys and farmers and whatnot, big son of a bitches. I'm 5'11", 180. I mean, these guys are over 300 pounds. And then you got some that are obese. They passed a law about 12 years ago. They said with your neck size was too big. You had some guys out there, 400 pounds, they get in the truck and go to the side. And then they got a wife or a girlfriend. She's a 400 pounder. She get in the other side of the truck. I'm sitting there like, what is this, man? You know, God bless them, but and then everywhere you look, I don't know what that's bad now. I see, I call them skinny Mexicans, from LA, and then the ragheads are always like this. They got a different way of thinking, so each to their own. I don't. I think you have to stay within a certain guidelines. They were all over me with my son all the time with how old is he and how much is he supposed to weigh. You got guidelines. He's on the low end or the high end, or he's more or less normal or whatever. But whenever you feel bad, you always look around if somebody is worse off than you are or whatever, So I try to look at it like that. And then actually, I guess I was blessed. I was blessed in a lot of ways. Like I'm 72. I'm looking at that George Soros. He's a good 90, man. And my sister's 93. My brother-in-law was 92. 90, no, he'd be 94 now, I think. And my brother'd be like 90. I'm the baby of the family, so I'm looking at them. I just went for a walk, 6 blocks, 8 blocks, just to get the blood circulating. I'm sitting here and getting a fat ass from sitting here, just sitting, and I go in the truck and I sit and I sit and I sit. That's no good for you. But it takes me a couple of weeks to unwind. I get wound up, and then like I'm eating, call Walmart to deliver. I get vegetables. I got a pot roast. You cook it up, and then potatoes, peppers, onions. You eat that 3 or 4 days, 5 days. I add stuff to it. I got some flour tortillas. I switch around. I got different types of cheese. I had some ice cream pie. I love that lemon meringue pie and all that. And ham and cheese sandwich and soup. I got soup and spaghetti, try to mix it up a little bit. I had salad last night. A little bit of everything. Orange juice and then milk. That's what works for me. So I go back to what I know. To me, that's when I was growing up. It was kind of a balance. Like right now, I had a good meal and avocado, tomatoes, garlic. And I'm going to have a little piece. I got some of that lemon pie. I'm going to have some of that a little bit and a little milk. No big deal. But I got to pay the registration for the truck. They're running behind over there. I call them in the morning. He says, you got to make an appointment online. And I called them, and they got new people. I asked for the one lady who's been taking care of me for 14 years. She got her stomach down to her knees. She got up one day. Real nice lady, but about 50. Up one day. Stomach hung down to her knee. I'm like, what the? But she takes care of me. And then another one that always, when I first started, so they know me. You go in there, and I figured out all the mileage from last year, and then they charge you according to it. It's $1,350, and I make sure I make that money first, So I got that, and then $500 to the IRS, $550. Got to have that. The insurance. I faxed them a copy. I said, "Did you get the copy?" Yeah. Well, there's a bunch of people in here ahead of you, and whatever. So she told me to go up there. I says, well, it's going to cost me. My car's not running, my 68 Cadillac. It's too cold to work on it right now. It's warming up a little bit, but I said it'll cost me like $20 each way with a Uber. You know, I have access to the internet for the state motor vehicles. So, but they're backed up. And it's supposed to be, I guess, what she says, my registration expires January 31st. So she says I could have registered last month, I guess. I've always been doing it the first week of February. So you got 5 days grace from January. So I'm thinking next year around the 15th of January, I'm going to do all this stuff. I had done it about 10 years ago. I think I went in, I don't know, maybe, well, that Sandy lady, she had told me the 1st of February, and you have 5 days, 5 business days grace. So I told this new girl here, I asked her, I said, I don't want to be late. I don't want to rush you, and take care. I'm not in a hurry, so no problem. It's just I'm trying to save that $40 from Uber. But let's see what she says tomorrow, because she told me Friday. Well, if you get up here in person by 2, if I go up there. But if I go up there on my own, if you don't ask them first, you get up there, and then go, oh, sir, sorry, sir, you're supposed to. Do you have an appointment? That's a new thing, because you used to just go in there, and now it's all these new. I call them Mexican immigrants. The cartel money, whatever. They come in there with money. They found a way to make money with a truck, and everybody, their brother, their cousin, their uncles, are all doing this thing. Hey, we're in America. We're truck drivers. Where are you getting all this money from? That's what I want to know. But back in the recession, back in 2008, I think it was. I just started. I think the first year. It was. Yeah, it was. The recession had just started or something. The second year of the recession, and I come out. I said, man, went to the motor vehicles. I said, boy, it's rough out there. And the lady says to me, she says, Mr. Gutierrez, she says, do you know how many people went out of business last year? I said, I wasn't even thinking about that, but I guess I think God blesses me. I got my license in 1975. They wouldn't hire you without experience. I went out to California. Guy gave me a chance. I started a couple of years. I went to this other company trying to make more money, and I got tired of it. After about 4 or 5 years. It sucked. You're making money, but it's rough when you're driving for somebody. LA is expensive, so whatever money you make, LA is going to take it all. And I mean, I'm so clean and sober. I'm not living no playboy lifestyle, that's for sure. But I can't stand like my dad and mom pinching every pennies. If you got a wife, I guess, and you're both doing it, that's what you do. But when you're single, like I was just talking to my nephew, he's talking. I says, hey, your wife's working, your kids are all working, you got a little support team. When you're single, you want to go out Friday night, whatever, have a good time, go dancing, go to comedy club. I used to go to Hollywood, and get you a hot dog and a coffee. You're looking to pick up a girl or something, and had a couple of dollars, $5 of gas. I had a Nissan back then. A $20 bill to cover everything, So I try to be as thrifty as I can, but it's just like sometimes it's just like I think you have to allow yourself to. Like I said, I was laying here. I caught the hantavirus last year. I was laying in bed for 6 weeks and just almost died. And I was laying here and I started feeling guilty after this. I was basically laying in bed for 6 weeks, and my buddy's out there, Greek from Pennsylvania, Highway Patrol. He's 74, running for Warner, least perch. Man, he didn't stop. I felt guilty. He said, hey, where you at the house? Man, you need to get back out there after a week, because he's a company driver basically. So that 2 or 3 days they calling you, hey, get back out here. I'm an owner operator. I said, hey Jimmy, I said I got a few bucks. I'm sick. I'm staying at the house. I'm out there. Like I say, 3.5 months, 6 months, 3 months. You wore out. In the heat, I ain't got no air conditioning. Shit kills you, man. I hit 2 snowstorms right now this last couple of months. You go out there. I'm taking it easy. I'm not gonna. I will nothing I can do will make me a billionaire right now. So why just count your blessings? I get me a coffee and a little piece of Danish or some Twinkies or cupcakes or something, whatever. Got a sweet tooth, Get some barbecue, whatever they got, Subway sandwich. Try to keep your health up. And but over here, I almost feel guilty relaxing, and that's bullshit. Yeah. I had one guy. He's telling me, he had a new truck, and I run 4,000 miles a week. I said, well, God bless you, man. I said, how much you making? You're not making that much. And I said, second thing, I says, wait a minute. He was going, rah, 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 rah. I said, hold on, man. I said, where are you from? And I said, how old are you? Oh, 32, 35. Well, okay, man. You were young. You were a babe. You're a young guy, a kid. You got energy, man. I can't do that now. I do about 2,000 miles a week. I'm running less miles and making a little more money than what I do. The truck is more consistent right now, so I stay out there. But I also I can pick from the load board my loads, my light loads, and a lot of times they're paying a little extra. So that's what I do. I've learned how to do that, and I try to talk to these guys and let them know that after you're out here a while. I seen this guy with a video, man, Dave and Mary Jo or some hillbilly girl or whatever. Beautiful couple. I don't know if they're just man or whatever. He's got his blue shades on. He's trying to talk trucker, and the guy started getting under my skin off the top. And he's got a brand new red CFI truck. He's got a video going on. Man, you know what? I said, let me watch this guy. He's a young guy, got his old lady with him, whatever. She could back good. Of course, she got the power steering that you can turn with your pinky. I don't have power steering. That's why my hands are wore out. I might need to get a $300-400 new steering wheel with a little cushioning, or put some foam and wrap it up with tape or something. Because my hands are killing me, man. But that's my choice. So I'm living with it. Everything is starting to come around compared to when I started. Guys were telling me all the way down the line, you got a year. Hey, congratulations, you're still alive. You got 2 years, and then it used to advertise and say if you got 3 years or more, you call the shots. By your third year, you either know what you're doing or you don't. Then it's like, well, I got 5. Okay, well, God bless you. I had 10 years. This real arrogant son of a bitch. She's telling, well, Man, I know what the fuck I'm doing. I've been out here 5 years. I walked away from the guy. I says, yeah, good for you, pal. Uh, then I start running across the guys, man, these old timers. They're younger than me. Uh, I've been out here 50 years, cowboys and shit. They got the shit together, but they've been out here 50 years. They're not all arrogant and shit. That's horseshit. Uh, Guys, 40 years. I guess I met my buddy Sam over there. Had 40 years, him and his brother. And he got $2 million. Shit. He got a 79 International. he's doing something right. Kept the same truck. That's what my dad say. Don't be bouncing around. Stay with what you got. Hold still for a second. You're going to pay your dues. People don't want to pay the dues. Fuck you. You got to. Show me what are these Middle East guys that come from different countries? They got brand new equipment. Seen this Chinese guy, he had a brand new truck and trailers. A 200 for the tractor, more or less, and then 30, 35, 40,000 for a dry box. Okay, now you got to pay insurance. You're going to pay a little more insurance if you have newer equipment because it's worth more. So they charge you extra. Now, this guy here, I think he had only been out for like a year or two. But the thing is, you're going to have to keep making those payments without fail. Like right now, the new trucks are like, last year, year before, $2,600 a month, $1,600 a month insurance, fuel, food you got to eat, maintenance. If you buy a newer truck, here's the thing: if you buy a newer truck, it's got a 5-year warranty, something like that. But you have to stop what you're doing. You probably have to call a tow truck. Sometimes they'll go tow you. That's part of the service that you get under the warranty if you break down. And then if it's a part that's covered under the motor and the tranny, the drivetrain, they'll take care of that and no charge. But you're going to be sitting 2, 3, 4, 5 days a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, depending. They have to order the part. When the new truck's around 2015, I think, they were telling me they haven't even made the new trucks start coming out, I think, in August or September. These guys rush over there, buy a brand new truck. And the guy told me he went to the dealer. He says they haven't even made the parts yet, the replacement parts. You need to know that or learn that. You're going to learn it the hard way. All that shit starts costing you, and you got to get a motel, which it's probably coming out of your pocket. Now, when you're in a motel, you're going to have to order food. And if you get a girlfriend, it's going to cost you extra. And you're sitting there just flipping a channel. That gets old real quick. They won't tell you all this because the pride, the ego, the man's pride and all the ego. And the shiny paint. Oh, I got a new truck, in the chrome. Oh, look at me. Yeah, look at you. Take a picture, put it on Facebook. You sit there with a pen and paper or your calculator, your smartphone, whatever. You still got to figure out how much is shit costing me? How much am I making? How much is shit costing me? And how tired am I getting? The same thing with now they got automatics, because if you're using a stick shift, your knees are going to get wore out from hitting the clutch and then the brake and the accelerator pedal. My right foot, you can have it. It's like a piece of wood almost. And I think about that sometimes. I'm trying to rest up and walk a little bit to get those muscles flexing a little bit. But I mean, to be a truck driver, I don't care if you're white, black, pink, polka dotted, whatever. You got to learn how to drive, how to do the digit. You know, I don't care if you got a GPS or whatever. You got to set all that shit up. You got to learn where you're going. You got to learn how to back in. The guy says, "Oh, well, they called us at 7 o'clock in the morning, and we went to the place, and so the pickup ain't till 11 tonight." This is like, I think it was a day or two before Thanksgiving. Well, it's like a Mexican holiday. You know, they leave a day early and they come back a day late. You got 2 or 3 day holiday, so they turn it into a 5-day mini vacation. The reason I say that is because so many of the warehouses, excuse me, well, I'm from the Southwest. It's mostly all Mexicans, forklift drivers and whatnot. I was in Lubbock, about 12, 13 years ago. I get there with JB Hunt load. I get there on a Friday. It's a holiday Monday. I says, well, I get here Friday at noon. I pull up there, ain't nobody there. So I go to the dock. I come up, fucking warehouse is empty. So I'm walking around. I find the dispatch office. Go in. I found a guy. Oh, he says, "Hey man, we ain't got nobody working today." So I made a joke. You know, I says, "Oh yeah, I forgot. It's like a Mexican holiday. They take the Friday off. Of course, they work like the devil when they're there, so you really can't blame them. But it took Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then Monday was a holiday, so they turned it into a 4 day. You know, nobody told me. I'm just trying to figure it out. Well, you learn. You do that a couple of times, and this guy in front of his girlfriend. Oh man! Oh my God! Whoa! This and that. FedEx. I don't care who you are. That's top of the line. They got a hell of an organization, but you got to keep one eye looking at the calendar. Is it a holiday or what? You know, all this shit comes up. So they advertise. I don't know what they teach them in the training and all that. They just tell them, pat them on the back and blow smoke up their ass and say, "Oh, you're going to be a truck driver now, man. This is big time. This is big time. You know, you're the star. You know, you." And the guy starts believing it because they don't know any better. And I try to tell them at the truck stop, because I says, "Man, don't get caught up. You don't want to waste time. Nobody wants to waste time." I says, "Hey man, here's the real deal. Here's the deal. This is they don't give a fuck about you. It's a money making machine. Nobody gives a shit. One out of a million. The guy's been there 20, 30, 40 years. I seen one guy, he lost his arm. They custom made he'd been there for a long time, and they give him a new truck, and they put all the switches, I think over here, or he lost his right arm, something. They moved all the switches that he needed over here so he could reach it with his left hand, something like that. But that's because they knew him. They advertised it's all one big happy family. But that's number one. If you get your foot in the door, and then number two, you work like a dog for 3, 4, 5 years. I will say 10 years. Now, then they keep changing people. So when you get back to them, they're all new dispatchers. You don't know nobody. The higher ups, the owners. If I go into JB Hunt right now and say I'd like to speak to Mrs. Hunt, JB Hunt is so big. I started 15 years ago. First thing I'm going to say is, look, I've been pulling. I'm independent, but I've been pulling for you all, loyal, and all that shit for 15 years. Okay. Because they look at you like, you want to talk to me? Who are you? I said, well, I would like to say, let me tell you who I am, but I don't want to get a battle of the egos. That this is millions of dollars a year. Same way with all the truck stops and all that. It's big money and a lot of work. All the work you can handle. Now, what I did in my position, I started out for me and my son, but since he died, it's me. Now I got to be I'm sober, clean and sober, and I got to think sensibly. Like I say, I'm sorry, man. After 60, it's straight downhill. Now, if you're 60, I don't even want to talk to you, man. You're still full of life. You're a young bunny. God bless you. Okay, but after 60, let's have a cup of coffee. Let's smoke a cigarette. Your body starts to go little by little. That's why I'm trying to walk more. And I notice, man, I got a step on me now. As I turn around and look at the other truck drivers, usually they're ahead of me. I'm dragging both feet. But something has changed a little bit. And I started walking and being conscious of that. Walk a little extra, park in the back of the truck stop. Every chance you get, go for a little walk. Just get the blood circulating. I'm not going to walk around the truck stop 8 times. I'll fucking walk to the truck stop, get a cup of coffee, hit the exit, and then look to see if there's a Waffle House or a Burger King down the street, a block or two, walk over to Taco Bell, walk over there. And I tell the truck drivers, if they want to listen, like when I say I was in New York in the 70s, we used to walk and talk. Hey, how you doing, man? Hey, you want to go over to Taco Bell? These guys, no, I got to talk to my wife. I got to call my wife. I got to call this. I got to run. I got to, I'm on the clock, and everybody's in a fucking rush. We got to keep on fucking Biden. We got to compete with the Chinese and the internet. Oh, that must tickle these younger people to the bone. I've got a cell phone or I've got a smartphone. I'm seeing now some older motherfuckers sitting there with their $1,000 smartphones. I got a $400 one, which got everything on it. I hate to spend that much, but it makes me money, so it's part of an expense. But just seeing some of these older guys, when I say older guys, I mean like 50 and 60. There's not that many 70-year-olds. But they're on the thing. Usually the black guys show me down south, man. They're all sitting there watching a little football game or something. I'm watching, you motherfucker watching a movie on it. I said, hey man, how do you, they showed me how to do that shit. But it's like this thing here I had started years ago with a computer. In fact, I go back to 1972. I was going to college downtown New York by City Hall, Pace University, and I was going to go to electronic data processing, and I says to myself, I don't think this shit's going to catch on. It just kind of started. That's one of the biggest mistakes I ever made in my life. But keeping my AA program, keep things in perspective. I put it down. I look at Facebook, the news a little bit, or Google, catch up, see what news they're talking about, or switch over. Because you got to, sometimes you, I was sitting for a week over there in Fort Worth, you know. They had the television going on in the playoffs, so I went in there and watched that. But sometimes I'll sit 2 or 3 days just to you work on your truck a little bit, go in the shop, whatever, 4 or 5 hours, and you come out, you're going to sleep. You're not quite, you know, look at the news a little bit, but try to, you know, half an hour, make a phone call or something. I talk to my friend. But you know, if you're young, I'd tell you go learn computer programming, I guess, or something. Sometimes I'll have a glitch on my laptop or my smartphone. Please, this if you're an American and you speak English, please do that. Take a year or two of classes. You go to work for JB Hunt. There's nothing worse to call AT&T or T-Mobile for tech help, tech support. And he's friggin', God bless them, from India, from the Philippines, can't stand a friggin' word they're saying. And you're stuck. You're already frustrated, and then they come on. Hello, Mr. Victor. How are you today? I'm like, what? Yeah, how you doing? That shit. It's just, it's like scraping your fingernails on a chalkboard. You know, just good God, you're stuck. I run into one guy. It was he had to reset the Wi-Fi, some shit. About 3 or 4 years ago, I think he was down in Houston, and he said, "Oh, let me transfer you to the tech or whatever." The guy gets on. Yes, sir. Can I help you? I said, "Hey, hey, you speak English?" Oh, yeah. So where you at, man? He said, "Houston." Oh, okay. I'm over here in El Paso. Get that out the way. He says, "Oh, what's it doing? What are you doing? And do this, do that, click this, click that, boom, boom, boom." We're done. And let me go see. I'm going to try to reset the thing from here first. We were done in 5 minutes. With these foreigners, it's half hour to an hour to 2 hours to, just aggravated. I told the guy, says, "Hey, look, every now and then they got connect yourself with JB Hunt because I usually run into it in 15 years, about once a year. Oh, our computers are down. Okay, so normally, I think the longest in 15 years has been 4, maybe 5 hours. The computers were down. You couldn't get nothing done. So you sit there, take a nap, whatever. That's not bad. I was asking them. They didn't know, but I said, "Who takes care of your programming or your software? You need a guy that knows what he's doing. Hopefully it's an American guy. Why not? I'm patriotic to a degree. We got some MIT. We got some of the best universities. Uh, I'm not going to say in the world because I don't know. It was a guy saying that we got 20 universities in this country that are the best in the world, and you go over there and it's all Asians or people from India or some Syrians. So what the fuck's the difference, man? I've been trying to just educate myself with the stuff I like because with the foreigners and a certain type of people, collegiate, intellectual, the elites, all that shit. First thing I do now, if the guy's so like the Fox News, I wanted to be a journalist back in '60. 4 when I first started high school. But I watch them. They got a cheap suit on for $99. Okay, you got a nice tie, $5. I don't know what this shit costs anymore, but. Hey, hey, pal. I'm sitting there at my house. I'm having a cup of coffee. Let me light up a cigarette. Talk to me, but don't talk like 2,000 miles an hour. And you look at them, and it says, "Hey, this is not my." Some of these truck drivers, same thing. First thing in the morning, walk. Well, you're walking so fast, might as well run. What are you going to do? Go to the bathroom, and then why are you going so fast? Then they get in the truck. They're driving fast too. Sometimes they're driving fast, doing 30 miles an hour in the truck stop. I almost got hit a couple of times. If you stop, you're dead because I'm gonna fuck you up because you almost hit me, or I'm gonna sue the shit out of you. And I'll look at him. I'll look at him, and you got the extended mirrors. I'll stop for a second. Hey, motherfucker! I'll flip you out. I don't give a fuck. And I look at it. I look in the mirror. There's one of these shaved head, baseball cap youngsters. And after 10,000 of them, you get an attitude against it. Oh, well, you're just old. Yeah, yeah. Well, tell me something I don't know. What I don't know. I don't know. I'm old. That's a California thing. If you're over 25, you're old. So I know that. Thank you very much. It's like that Bill Maher I started talking about earlier. The girl gives him a cheap shot. You don't know about the internet and the tech, they call it, whatever. And he says, "Hey," he says, that's a low blow." I would have said to her, "Hey, sweetheart, first of all, she's a weird looking bird. Her gums are halfway up to her nose, and her teeth are." Now, she's 25. Big fucking deal. She had a brunette with a purple in there. So I always got. Who gives a fuck? That goes back to the 1920. What are you talking? What do we? I would have said to her, I says, and he came back though. I tipped my hat to him. He come back and he says, but something to the effect that was something because he's getting up. I think he's 60 or so, and then he's had his own show. I've been watching that guy 20, 25, 30 years, and he's clever. I don't know if I don't like you, man. If I think you're stupid or something, I 1 second, two, I ain't, but I watch the guy. Well, he got a new show now, and so that's just good. I was going to make a comment. Hey, glad to see you. This he put in at least 20 years. So this girl, he was on television before when this girl was born. But she's trying to make herself look good or make him look stupid or something, which is stupid. And then this guy from England, he was over there chattering 200 miles an hour. He looked stupid. Yeah, he had a suit on there, nice and clean and all that. Got the hair thing and blah, 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 blah. But it's like I'm looking at him after about 2 minutes. Like I think Bill Maher, he's getting irritated. He couldn't get a word in. Hey, there's no respect. That's his fucking show. I'm watching Johnny Carson from the 60s and the 70s. Drew Barrymore was on there. She was 5 years old. Look at her, oh, man, that was funny. But she gave ultimate respect at 5 years of age. And he had everything under the world on his show. But you got to respect. That's his show. And he introduced you when you come out, give you a nice build-up, respectable, all that, and then you do your thing. And then, but this girl just shot him down, like hit him in the nuts with some, you know, if I ever see her face, I'm changing the channel. I got no use for her. You're gonna be like that. I didn't hear. I listened to it. I didn't hear her say nothing really. Her opinion. That's why I started with this. And what I do, I look at Michael Franzese and Sammy the Bull and other mobster videos and shit. I'm looking at these guys. I'm trying to figure out. I looked at the cops off the cuff in NYPD. There's four guys, and they got their own little show. They got a little cartoon and a jingle and a big ass. It's fucking gangsters. It's full of bullshit. They prosecuted Giuliani, and I look at the other side. I was like, I wasn't a gangster, but I was on the streets, and a little bit of criminal activity. It wasn't too much, but I wasn't a straight up. I wasn't a choir boy, let's say that. But I'm looking too, like one guy's retired. He's put in, hey, he paid his dues, man. I'm going to respect him, listen to what the fuck he's saying. And they know they're from there. And I was listening to him. I says, nah, what it boiled down to was last week when those cops got shot in the Bronx and they had those services, boy, just St. Patrick's Cathedral. In a sea of blue. There were 10,000 or more officers, shoulder to shoulder. And the Harley Davidson, the motorcycle cops. You gotta respect. Yeah, I left in the 80s. Geez, 42 years ago already. Seems like yesterday. And then my nephew, he's his sons are over there and they're looking to buy a house. I guess it's cleaned up. I don't know. What I seen on television, scary. And then so Biden come a day after the second funeral, which is just, if you're going to go and you're a president like Trump, I'm sure would have gone to the funeral. They went to George Bush Sr.'s funeral. That was something else. He passed out envelopes. He wanted to lock him up. Subpoena with some shit. Never did find out what was up with that shit. But and they got a new. I was looking about 6 months ago at Curtis. I don't want to Sliwa. I think it's Sliwa. Guardian Angels from the 70s. They had also gone out to L.A. when I was on probation. I transferred over to L.A. and they were over there too. But trying to keep, however you want to say it, a vigilante force on the street or whatever. Sliwa was into law and order. He's from Brooklyn. And running for mayor. So I'm listening to the guy, and he was debating like a Puerto Rican guy who was a businessman. They had two different way of doing things. I lived in New York, like I said, that was back in the 70s. Rikers Island, whatnot. It was overcrowded and all that. So there was I don't know. I don't know. I talked to my friend. He grew up next to Frank Sinatra, Hoboken, New Jersey. Italian guy. He was a fuck, good guy. But he says, they want to put more cops. I was into that drunken stupor, I've been locked up a few times. They didn't. They killed one of my buddies. Is probably what what triggered his shit, but he was he was like a con artist, a thief, but he always treated me with respect. Barry something back around 75 and at the ninth precinct. Yeah, and then when I had my son, I was watching the NYPD Blue. I remember Sipowicz played the. He was an alcoholic, yeah. Yeah, he finally had a kid and all that. But it's. I think I was blessed there too, or just too drunk that I avoided shit or something. I was telling my lawyer, he was from 23rd Street. I said, Joe, I said, you live in a nice high-rise building community, you know, security, all that shit. One day his Mustang wasn't driving. He moved his office downtown by Wall Street. And he calls me up. He says, can you give me a ride downtown? He says, my car's in the shop. Yeah, sure, Joe, this guy. Anything you want, you know. I picked him up. Stuyvesant town. I think he died, but rest in peace. But he was one of the best guys I ever met in my life. Just an Irish, just a regular guy. And then he wanted to go to an AA meeting with me. He says one of the relatives of somebody got a drinking problem. But he had lost his wife and his daughter. His daughter used to answer the phone, you know, just nice. And grandma used to answer the phone, just good people. It wasn't on the street. You know, I was in with that street shit. Hey, can you spare a little change? I'm trying to get drunk or whatever, and trying to get something to eat. But there's no, hi, how are you? You know, nothing like that. You know, so trying to explain to anybody, my sister, my family. My brother just died. My nephews. I said, hey, I said, they don't want to let you talk. I said, just stop for a second. Listen to what I want to tell you. I said, I was all the way down. It couldn't hardly get no further down. But I said, listen to me, man. When you ain't got nothing, I got 4 buddies. That we were together, okay? And in this country, you got programs, you got rehab, you got all kinds of shit. I learned in Rikers Island. I'd already been to college, but we had a consensus: Black, Puerto Rican, Mexican. You know, learn. Abraham Lincoln wanted to learn so bad. He studied by candlelight, and that'll always stay with me. I'm not stupid. I went back to like reading. I started reading the Bible, and then anything else I could get my hands on, really. And then I was just thinking yesterday that me and my buddy, he was from like, what the fuck, Bohemia? It's an old country, somewhere around Poland or something. I know this guy 12 years already. And like we would go to the Barnes and Noble, was over there off St. Mark's, 8th Street, and 6th Avenue. Remember when they opened that up, they had to go down to the basement. I had a couple of Jewish friends, the same thing too. I don't know why we weren't. It's just like we're drinking, you know, beer, whatever, but it's something to do, you know. I went in the library. This guy was so fucking drunk, this black guy I was with, man. I knew him for a little bit. Hey, Vic, how you doing, man? We went down to the library there off St. Mark's and 6th Avenue, St. Mark's Library. I forget the name of it. We went in there, and I said, you ever been in there? I said, no, I never been in there. And Come on, man. He was bomb. He was fucking guy's wasted. They got a circular stairway going upstairs. He said, "Come on, let's go upstairs." I said, "Come on, man, let's go. I want to see what they got." I never been there. And my point is, I'm trying to. There's an urge, even if you're drunk or drinking, there's an urge to better yourself. And I got that from a lot of black guys. Uh, when I got out of jail, I took it to heart, man. I went to I'm trying to learn mechanics, and I went to somebody told me, they says, I went to the library on 42nd Street. I think it's 2 or 3 floors, big motherfucker. I went up there and I says, the index thing there, go over there. I was looking for valves. I just went to the school up on 58th Street. They rebuild. You buy the parts, they'll rebuild the motor for you. It's a school that lets the students learn as they go. The instructor had experience, but he put a motor together. It's not all that hard, but you got to have certain equipment and whatnot. But I did that. I spent about $700 in parts. The guy told me, tell him there was AC General Motors right across the street. He says, tell him you're a student here, and they give you a discount. Okay, whatever. So I saved up that money and rebuilt that motor. And then I got locked up. And then I come out, I parked my car down by the river on the west side. And I come back, the fucking car's gone. They had changed hands. Some new owner, some Middle East motherfucker. I says, hey, I left my car. It was 7 weeks I was in Rikers Island. 72 days or something like that. Yeah. I figure they're going to keep it. They're going to charge me when I come back. The guy goes, just flip it. Oh, it ain't here. I don't know. Get lost. I'm like, hey, motherfucker. I said, what the fuck? Just had that rebuilt motor in there. I got fucked, And then I got to thinking, I was this guy, he was an orphan, Ronnie. He gave me a job up on 23rd Street. I had a taxi garage. I had like 4 cars and then repair shop. I sweep the floors and shit, $5 an hour, something like that. But it got me started, In fact, Ronnie had paid my rent for me while I got locked up. Like I think $35 a week or something like that. But he did. I mean, who the fuck does that for you? There's some good people there. And then his Irish partner, Bob, I think he was a cop in Queens. I don't trust anybody no more. I don't give a fuck if you're a cop or whatever. And I don't want to. That's why I was listening to that Megyn Kelly on that regret thing. Sometimes you get kicked around or fucked over so many times, and that's what I had a guy that done prison time in California. He says, "Don't ever trust anybody." And I hate to think about that. I had a cop in New York on 6th Avenue in front of the deli. He gives me $1. I'm trying to get a beer. Yeah, he's seen me a couple of times. He says, you see this dollar bill? He says, don't trust nobody. He says, trust this dollar bill. It's sad to be like that, but and I'm noticing with the mafia thing too. It says, hey, even the guy's father, he took him into they want to talk to us, and they got to go down in the basement. But I got to walk in first. Wait a minute, why are we walking in first? It's a setup. And the guy says, his partner told him, he says, I think it was 2 different times. His partner, guy grew up with him. He says, "Hey," he said, "Did you know about this?" And he says, "Yeah, they were going to whack you, man." And he says, "You didn't tell me." He says, "I'm going to ask you one thing." He says, "If that was you, what would you have done?" He says, "Yeah, you're right. That's pretty cold blooded, man. Because you want to trust somebody. AA is a whole thing about trust issue. That's part of our problem. I never really got to the end of that. I don't remember what happened, but you want somebody you can trust. When you're by yourself, do you trust yourself? Self discipline. Ah, shit, I'm not gonna. Yeah, trust me, I'm gonna do this. Like I went for a walk today. Fucking, it's cold out. I don't want to walk. I said, no, do it. Just go for 6 blocks. It could take you 10, 15 minutes, man. Trust in the Lord. Trying to be on the positive side and all that. So, well, I'm going to call it an early night, I guess. I'm finished up with my paperwork. I got to put 3 or 4 things together for the morning. But everybody have a nice evening. Watch the Olympics a little bit. I watched it a little bit. That's for the rich. At Michelle Schiffer or whatever. I was watching her, and her dad died. Got a multi-million-dollar house out in Colorado. Yeah, that's just a hop, skip, and a jump from El Paso. We're kind of neighbors, but there are some wealthy people up there. God bless them. There's a lot of poor people. I stop at a truck stop, man. They ain't wealthy, believe me. But I said, well, she's one of the, she's from, that's like Paris Hilton. Her grandfather was from New Mexico, those in the Southwest, dude, you know. Anyhow, so it was showing us she was skiing. She's a young girl. And, her dad died. That's, well, she went out and I tried to keep putting one foot in front of the next, I guess. So but I was looking at that hill she went down, I guess last night or something, yesterday or something, and like a curve, but the camera was panning out, and I seen that it said it's a very steep hill. But the way the guy was saying it, I'm thinking, the way he said it. But then the camera was showing the picture, and it wasn't like this. It was like this. Because I'm very conscious of hills up and down when I'm driving a truck. That's about maybe 6% grade, maybe 5% grade, like that. It's downhill. It's pretty. Pick up speed with your weight. But this thing here, man, it was like, I'm not going to say it was straight down, but I mean, it was about maybe 30 degrees or something like that. 30, 40 degrees, something like that, man. It was steep as shit. So anyhow, you got to compensate because that little split second, you're not used to it or something. And then the other one on what I looked at on the Olympics was the Rock. I haven't checked it out yet, but I heard said the Rock. There's I think 2 or 3, couple of people that crashed. I don't know what the deal with it is, but I'll check it out. I like I was watching the curling. I think I got up Wednesday at 2 o'clock in the morning and I put it on. It was a curling match. I don't know why. I'm trying to understand it. I had to look it up on Google how that game is played. It's a stone, and they push it on ice. And there's 4 rings: the bullseye, another one, another one, another one. So you got to land your stone here. but I couldn't quite. If they knock you out, you get a point or something. I didn't get it straight, but I was watching them. It's a real delicate touch. Then they get in front there with that little broom, and the girl's telling the guy, "Ah, to the left," and he got a. I was trying to figure out how all that works. What the fuck is this? But it's so outrageous. You're watching it, and this one girl was a dead eye, man. The American girl they were over there in Holland at the preliminaries to come into the Olympics, and I forget who it was. She's from Australia, that girl Hill or something. I mean, she get it down as a straight line down the middle, and they got one. You got to pass. It's on top of the circles. There's one stone, the other guy's stone, and she just got to pass by it. I swear to God, it wasn't. I mean, like about a half inch or something like that. I said, man, she got that thing like, and then you got to, I guess, put enough force on it because you don't want to go past the bullseye, you know. It's like chess, sort of, you know. You got to figure it out, whatever. But I thought I'd watch it, and I look at the girl. That girl was. She had the touch, you know. So I'm looking at her. Then they went to the Olympics. There was a couple, a team, and they got defeated right away in extra ends. They call it ends, like innings. You get play 6 or 8. I'm going to call it innings. And they went overtime. I guess they tied and they lost, but. Next year, whatever, they had 22, 25, 23, 18. But I watched the skaters, either the couples or the single skaters, ice skaters. And they're unbelievable, man. They got some guy who look a little effeminate, but the guy that's skating and he picks the girl up and she spins like 2 or 3 times, 4 times, whatever, and lands. I was like, holy Jesus, lifting her up like this. Gotta be a lot of work. But the Russian girl was 15, forget her name, Camilla, like the vice president. Camilla, beautiful. This girl here, they're saying that a girl with her talent comes around once in a lifetime. She's the queen. 15. Impeccable, just flexible. You know, I can't do that shit. You know, holy moly, man. They must practice nonstop, but 15, I'm watching, I said, holy mother of Jesus, man, this girl is jumping up, you know, a triple axle, whatever. And I never did nothing on that degree. So I just sit there in amazement. And she's from Russia. Good looking girl. Cute little. She don't look like a communist, but whatever. And then and she's I'm looking at this other girl's 14. Good Lord, man. I just unbelievable. It's worth watching. You know, it's about a 5-minute program. And then the couples, like I say, well, there was 2, 3, 4 couples that I was watching them. I watched the woman. The guy's just standing there, but the woman got some hellified moves, you know. And you're looking at that, and they got a little costume on and the music. But it's just the control and the timing. They're both spinning at the same exact time. Come down, you know, jump up, come down. It's like, I mean, something else. I've been watching that for a while, but and then the craziest guy is, I guess, from Austria. There's 2 of them, one from Austria. with that luge where you're sitting on the sled going down. Guy's hitting 80 miles an hour. Okay. But how the fuck do you control that shit? He's laying on, looking up on this ramp, ice ramp. You can't hit the wall. I don't even know how they control it, just with a body weight or something. But you can't see where you're going, or you're looking down. Maybe you could just barely see where you're going. I couldn't do that, man. But hey, these guys get to going. And the Jamaican bobsled, they were laughing about, oh hell, it's been about 25 years ago. They won the bobsled. A couple of Jamaicans. How do you practice in Jamaica when I was going to Hyannis, Massachusetts, where I was hanging out drinking, like 70, 71. They said, hey, you want to go to the ice skating rink? That's where all the money kids are. I thought about that. I said, yeah, we were going to go over there one day. It's hotter than shit. I was there in the summer. It's hotter than shit. And we're drinking beer and with a couple of the locals. Man, it's hotter than fuck over there. You want to go to the skating rink? At a skating rink? What the fuck? I never heard of that shit. I'm from El Paso. We had a skating rink, but it was a ice in Massachusetts, an ice skating rink. There's them people up there, Boston and whatnot. They got snow and ice. They play ice hockey and all that. They got ice up there all winter. So that's what they do. Right? We don't have, like, it snowed the other day about an inch, maybe an inch and a half. You get that once every other year, but you're not going to be ice skating, playing hockey, ice hockey, They can do it. I think I asked them back then. I says, how do you? Well, it costs money. First of all, you got to get the water to turn into a refrigeration unit. That costs money. So we're going from nothing, man. You got a quarter for a can of beer. Can you spare a quarter for a can of beer? You got a cigarette like that, five and dime. 5, 10, 25 cents. The dollar's big stuff, So over there, we didn't go. Yeah. But I'm not gonna. I don't know if they were rich. They just maybe it's just they weren't drinking or bums or whatever. But, all right. Well, let's see what tomorrow brings. Because I get on here because what I see these journalists and Fox News at 25 years. Yeah, but I look back some of these documentaries on YouTube back at the Walter Cronkite, who was doing the Dallas assassination. He was going at a pretty good clip, but he started making me wonder. He was an idol. And I sit here and smoke a cigarette. It's been years and years. And I said, the guy died, but I says, I didn't like the report he gave, him and Dan Rather, on the Kennedy assassination. And then Marilyn Monroe, it's all corrupt. Like this Jewish guy here, pathologist, he says, this is reality. There's me or you can't do that. It's different types of people. To kill somebody or to plot, make a plot and work with 3, 4 or more people in assassination. And he said something too I haven't heard since I first started looking at it in '64. He said it was what they call it, a coup d'état. It's COUT, coup, and then a D with a, what do you call it? I can't even think of it. We put that little thing on the top. D, coup d'état, ETAT, etat, coup d'état. One government or one force organization takes over the government. Like that's what the CIA used to do with the third world countries. So that was assassinating our president, which represents the United States government, the United States, an organization, I'm going to say of elitists, those that don't play by the rules, that are above the rules. They take over. So when they're talking today about the socialists, Marxists, communists, we need to, I don't see these journalists talking about this shit. I think I would fall over if I heard one of today's journalists, because I flip the channels. I go all over to different ABC, CNN, MSNBC. To me, the future is based on the past. And like I said, we're looking at the Mongols going back 1,000 years. People are always, like Whoopi Goldberg, what she said with that, the Jews are not a race. The other day she got suspended on The View. That she said, no, what I mean is man's inhumanity to man. And I heard that back in the 60s. I think I was going to college or English class or English literature or something. Man's inhumanity to man. But that's the way it is. That's the reality of this world. Now, if you're Christian, you believe in God, we want to be kind. And then it says, one of the 10 commandments, love your neighbor as you would yourself. So in my life, when I sobered up, I had to start learning what love was, because I really, my parents like loved me from a distance, or had abandoned me up there because they were older and their other son died. There wasn't a warm, fuzzy family, mentally abusive, insulting you all the time and making you feel bad and all that. So I had to get a grip on that, identify the problem, and then there's plenty of help. What is love? They made a song about, what is love? Caring about someone else or whatever, and then somebody fucks you because you have to learn that maybe they don't know what love is either, and don't trust you because it's something foreign to them. That's getting pretty deep, but that's what you're dealing with. I'm looking at George Soros tonight, and this guy's gone. They said he escaped from a prison in Siberia. What was he doing up there? And then from a German prison camp or some shit. I relate to him a little bit now because he was in prison and he's old. So I said, let me look at this fucking guy. And all the comments, Mr. Evil, and how many people you. But he says, one of them said that he's there to make money. He don't care about the consequences. Now, if you have ethics, like I worked down Wall Street, but I also went to Trinity Church, which is right downtown there. That's the oldest church in America or something. It's a small little, tiny little thing, but they built that on Wall Street. That was the first settlement. And you down on Wall Street, and half the people are Jewish. But it's all about making money. Period. But I'm going to say, in reality, 95%, 95%, because there is a little bit of socializing And I had I had I had a lot of girlfriends down there and a couple of buddies. We used to bullshit, and then there was this guy that used to sing with Frankie Lyman and the Teenagers up in the Bronx. He'd done 13 years. And we used to sing in the hallways after work and drink a little bit. And we got to be a little, I think there was 5 or 6 of us. I don't know any better. So I'm going to call that some companionship or friends or whatever. You know, so yeah, yeah. Well, I'm going to end this, and God bless everybody. To see what this next week brings. I'm just trying to put a different slant on the news and what you hear. There's a whole lot of stuff out there. They call that the mainstream. I'm trying to look at what's beyond, because a lot of time they just tell you what's going on right here and right now. But you're talking to the Pentagon. We have the CIA don't get on and give a report, if you notice. And this is one of the elements that's behind the scenes. So what you try to do is deduct what you see. This one says this one, these different viewpoints and all that. And then try to almost take the opposite way of thinking to what's the other side going to do? Talking about if Russia invades, then we have to prepare for, they have different 2 or 3, 4 different options. If they don't, well, we have to counter, make a plan. Well, what if they do this? Well, what are we going to do? If they do this, what are we going to do? If it got to be like a general in the army or something. Anyhow, I'm getting a headache. So God bless everybody, and we'll hope for the best. Keep the hope, keep the faith, and then it'll be Tuesday. I try to get Monday over with, and then it'll be Tuesday. I just keep going back to work, and thank you, Lord, for letting me live another day, and we go from here. Shit. All right. God bless everybody.